Greetings, folks. You're watching the first in a series of comments from the Capitol. I'm State Representative Ed Brooks, and I hope to be doing this on a monthly basis. I'm going to answer some questions about what's going on in the state legislature, and with that, we have a question from a Camp Douglas man who asks, you talk about the budget process in your e-updates. What exactly is the budget process? Well, thank you for the question. Budget process is when the governor begins the process of putting together his proposal for the next 2 years. In the last fall, early December, he had all his cabinet members come together with their recommendations for their particular departments and agencies. Then he sat down and with his policy people and came up with the document on my right, which is his proposal for the upcoming 2-year period. That was presented to us on the 3rd of February, I believe it was. The evening speech, it was 6 sheets long, about 25 minutes. That was further supplemented by Budget in Brief, which is about 97 pages long, and the actual document itself starts out about 1,800 pages. That may get longer or may get shortened up depending on what the Joint Finance Committee does. The Joint Finance Committee is the legislative portion of the budget process. It's made up of 8 members from both houses, Republicans, Democrats, majority and minority, and they will sit down, they will go over this proposal from the governor. It is the governor's budget yet, and they will have their Legislative Fiscal Bureau come in and give them analysis to let us know if the recommendations of the governor are high or low or right on the money as far as financial and economics assumptions. Then they will go and have a statewide series of meetings, public hearings where you, and if there's a meeting held in western Wisconsin, you may want to go and have your input. You're limited to probably 2 minutes of testimony, but it gives you a chance to have your kick at the can, if you will, on the budget process. During the process, they're gathering information. They're meeting with the agency heads to get their take on the proposals that they're making in the budget. Ultimately, the budget then is voted on by both houses after it's gone through this give and take process. Some things are coming out, some things will be added perhaps. Then the budget is brought to the floor in one of the houses first, either the Senate or Assembly. The second house has to concur or make changes, then the first house would concur. Anyway, we have to agree on it in the legislature before we send it to the governor. And probably the proposal is late May or early June, we'll have a budget that we agree on. We'll send it to the governor for his signature. He has the option to either sign it as we send it, or he can line item veto it, or he can reject it in total. But that's the kind of the budget process. The second question comes from a lady in New Lisbon, I believe it was. What is going on? What the proposal in the budget? Are there good things or bad things? What is my take on it? I think there's a lot of things in the budget that are good, and then there's some that we have to give some consideration to. I think one of the things in the budget is the governor is holding the line on property taxes. There's a slight reduction in both years. I think the big thing overall is that we're holding the line. This is important to young families that are buying their home, trying to raise their children, that sort of thing, as well as for older people that are trying to stay in their home. So property taxes are a big thing. Another thing the governor addressed, and I was on the Speaker's Assembly Rural Task Force Committee, and we had a number of recommendations, and he put some of those recommendations in the budget. One of the things deals with sparsity aid for school districts that have a large area to serve, but fewer students per mile. They receive some additional funding, as well as they receive some transportation funding for the same basis for sparsity aid. So those are some of the good things. There's a couple of things that cause me some concern in the budget. One is the university system is facing some substantial cuts, and they would become an authority similar to the University Hospital Authority. That's something we had to take a look at. I think 4 years ago it was proposed that the university would become a freestanding institution in Madison. Again, this is something that takes further concern. We have to take a look at it and see if the savings are there that the university can survive. But again, that's one of the things we have to look at. Another thing in the budget deals with making DATCAP and the DNR boards advisory. Currently, they are policy boards. They generate recommendations for administrative rules and things. If the governor's proposal goes through, they would become more advisory in the sense that they would not have the legislating ability that they currently have. Another thing in the budget deals with the governor is proposing to go to countywide assessments. Currently, every municipality has their own assessor. They're equalized by the Department of Revenue so that we all pay. If there's 2 different municipalities supporting a school district, they'd be equalized so that they're all paying at the similar rate, that sort of thing. So those are things we have to look at as the budget goes forward. And finally, the last question comes from a man in Boston. Do you have any upcoming listening sessions? Well, thank you for the question. That is a good question. We've held a number of listening sessions so far. I say we because Senator Markline and I have held them together in Reedsburg, Mauston, Newseta, and we are planning to hold additional sessions in Kendall and in Richland Center on the 6th of March. Again, watch your local media for confirmation on those dates, and the time has not been set. So I want to thank you for watching this report, for comments from the Capitol. Thank you for joining me, and have a good day.